Good afternoon. My name is Niko House, host of the political radio show Mikasa Sukasa, and I urge you all to join our One Follow $1 campaign, where we essentially show the establishment that we ain't playing they nonsense anymore. We are going to support our journalists, and especially since the mainstream media is kind of lying, very shamelessly so. So for my Patreon, I'm at my goal of 500. We met it in less than a week. And we have a new goal, or technically it's the same goal, but it's a new goal that we need to reach. Then by the end of July, we have 1,000. We've reached 1,000. We're at 547, unless something has changed in the last 30 minutes. And we love your help to help us get there. $1, one follow. That's a double cheeseburger on a long day. I mean, I'm not rich, so I eat double cheeseburgers sometimes. That's that's a pack of meat. That's just some tomato. Actually, I don't think any fruit costs. But anyway, it's $1. You can help me buy a meal. Help any of your independent journalists buy a meal, pay a bill, whatever we can do to take our stress off of our finances and give you what you deserve, which is the news. So Bernie Sanders has come out and said at a Kentucky rally that as soon as we are done destroying this bill, as in the bill that the Republicans have introduced, that they are going to be working on single-payer health care, aka Medicare for all, aka universal health care. This is pretty huge for a number of reasons. Now, as you all know, this is one of Bernie Sanders' main talking points during the election, and it's kind of the reason why a lot of people fell in love with him. The other ones being, the fact that he wanted to have college, not necessarily for free, but he wanted to make it free for those who couldn't afford college. And a few other things, holding people accountable, reinventing the electoral process, getting big money out of politics, things like that. But single payer is huge because it's the most imminent, the most feasible, and right now it is on the table. It's almost like this was meant to happen in a sense, because Republicans are kind of realizing they have no idea what they're doing. They don't actually understand this stuff. They were so pissed at Obama, but none of them ever actually thought that they would be in a position to do anything. And now, even some of the Republicans are like, you guys are stupid. We can't just repeal and take all these people off of healthcare and then not have a plan to implement. So Bernie Sanders said, he said it today at a Kentucky rally, but he also said it in an article for The Hill, that they are going to defeat this bill first, because he doesn't want the two issues confused, one, and because we don't want to take people off of healthcare. That's just because it will take a while to navigate a single-payer healthcare system. This isn't something that will just pop up overnight. This will be a 1 year or 2 year process. And I don't like Obamacare personally, but there are people who depend on it still. And even though it doesn't work for everybody in every state, it works for some people in some states, and that's enough for the time being not to repeal it. If it's saving lives, then at least let it stay for now. But we are on the way now to a single-payer healthcare system, because the current system is unsustainable and they have nothing else to replace it. And people are losing elections based off of this. People's constituents are moving out of their states based off of them not expanding Medicare or not expanding Medicaid. And when that happens, you all of a sudden start to see a little bipartisan help. And then for some politicians, that actually gets some of the donors off of their backs, because it's like, okay, well, if I can't help it, you can't be mad at me for not, passing or denying single-payer health care. Now, there are a couple of implications. First, I want to go and talk to the people who are like, single-payer is stupid, it's so socialist, it's so bad, it's impossible, I don't understand how that works. You're wrong. You're totally wrong. I can't stress enough how wrong people are about the ability for single-payer healthcare to work in the United States of America. Now, the easiest example I can point to is Canada, right? Huge, not necessarily as big of a population, but pretty comparable, and they love it. In fact, there are some people who still maintain their Canadian citizenship in order to go back to Canada when they need some serious surgeries. Now, the main argument is, well, what if we don't have enough doctors? Or what if we don't have enough the main one is long wait times for people. Sometimes wait 6 months for surgeries. So I hate to break it to you all, and this obviously, some people, you can tell when people haven't actually had surgeries in the States, depending on the city that you live in and the availability of hospitals, you have long wait times anyway for surgery, except for, at least if you have long wait times right now, you happen to be one of those fortunate people who are able to pay for their health insurance. At least when they have their long wait times, they can still pay. Like, and there are situations in Canada where if it's deemed an immediate emergency, they don't die waiting for their surgeries. That's like a myth. Like, I'm sure it's happened, but it probably wasn't like, oh, they probably thought that they had more time than they did, but the doctors did. The doctors thought that the patient had more time, and then something occurred that was a freak accident. But there's no numbers to back this stuff up. Like, we have long wait times too right now, except for everybody can't afford to wait. Now, there is a doctor issue, and that is a legitimate concern. And I agree with that. But we have many solutions. We're the quote-unquote melting pot. Everybody wants to come here. You have some of the best medical schools in the world here. Duke University, UNC, even Ivy League medical schools. UCLA has a really nice medical school. University of Miami has a really nice. Like, people come here, NYU come here from all over the country, all over the world to go to our medical schools. So why not subsidize their college and offer a path to citizenship if they go to school here? How about we stop charging people ridiculous amounts of money to save lives? I'm not saying not to pay doctors, because they'll still be paid. And some people, there's also that myth, oh, doctors won't want to work for cheap. Doctors are still going to be paid. Do not worry. But we don't want to put things in the hands of insurers because they abuse things. I don't know if you all know what an underwriter is, but an underwriter is the person who decides, well, I don't want to pay for this surgery, or, well, I guess I can pay for a part of it. That's who, one person sits in the back room and makes that decision. And if we take that power out of their hands, a lot more people will get taken care of. Also, another incentive for this, for those of you who hate expensive prescription drugs, the reason that prescription drugs are so expensive is because they know that insurance companies are going to pay, because we're paying them to pay. The insurance company's going to charge us, and they're going to. But if the government is paying for healthcare, as in we're paying our taxes into the government, and then the government pays to make sure that all of us are taken care of and all of us can afford pharmaceuticals, guess what? All of a sudden, the government starts coming up with creative ways to work with pharmaceutical companies to ensure that pharmaceuticals are affordable for our country, because we pay the most right now. So that's another incentive. We have so much extra money, in case you didn't know. They're pretending like we don't have that much. And this, if some people talk about modern monetary theory and things like that, and that's cool, whatever. Even if that's not the case, we have so much money in this country. We could subsidize education for future doctors, offer a path to citizenship for the many people who want to come from overseas. And we have a good portion of our foreign-born that are doctors at this moment. So why not make it more accessible? We get better quality. We have people less stressed. They'll be willing to start their own clinics, so we decrease wait times. Because I'm not worrying about making millions of dollars because I didn't pay millions of dollars for my education. Not everybody's out to make millions of dollars, believe it or not. But there are some people who legitimately want to help but are fearful that they won't be able to afford to. That's a lot of money. So we create incentives. We incentivize people to come to one of the most, flourishing countries in the world with absolutely some of the most viable financial means. And almost every negative you could ever say about single payer goes out the window. Stop saying that it doesn't work, because it already is happening. What do you think TRICARE is for active duty military? It works. The only difference is we can't sue for malpractice, which sucks, but whatever. I'm at least glad I have healthcare. If I need to go somewhere, I go. You schedule your appointment, you're seen within a couple of days. It works on Fort Bragg of all places, which has the highest population in the military. It works. And that's in a consolidated area. What we need is single payer. And for those of you who swore up and down, Bernie Sanders is a sheepdog. Bernie Sanders is a sheepdog. He's doing literally the total opposite of what the Democrats are paid to do. And they've already come out and none of them have screamed single payer. There's only been one person to do it. It's Bernie Sanders. Sorry. Like, once again, we can all be mad at him for the things that he says, rhetorically. And I would say, please, call him out whenever it's time to. But when it's time to take a step back and maybe look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, I feel like a person with a sheepdog wouldn't do the exact opposite of what the party is telling everyone to do, which is push for Obamacare. He said, once again, Obamacare is only going to be held in place so that we can go ahead, kill this. It's not even a Trump care bill, because Trump, if you notice, hasn't been taking credit for it. There's a reason for that. But we kill this Trump care bill, make sure people maintain their insurance that already have it, but then we start working for Medicare for all. Slam dunk, baby. Now let's start getting to business. Rhetorically, like, I get it. We do need to control rhetoric, but we also need to recognize that sometimes, and this is unfortunate in politics, but it's fact. This is life. Every day you go to work and say something and do something you don't want to do because you have to get by. You got to survive the day. Sometimes you say stuff that you don't want to say. He didn't vote on anything that affected Russia. We haven't had anything, unfortunately, introduced to deal with election rigging and election fraud yet. We have the lawsuit, but like I said before, it would be unwise for him to talk because he would be a witness in the lawsuit. And if he had good lawyers, they would tell him not to talk. But when you have one person in the whole country on the national level saying, let's do this, damn lobbyists, damn the Democratic Party, damn the Republican Party, damn Trump, damn Hillary, we need to make sure people are healthy and are alive to vote. He's introducing legislation for that. He says some stuff y'all don't like, but he doesn't back it up with his votes. Just saying, you might want to start thinking, you know, who really has your best interests at heart. It's easy to punch and punch up. It's like a punching up. You punch down, you're punching at somebody who can't really defend themselves. But if you punch up, you're punching at somebody who literally is so overstretched that they can't defend themselves at every single turn. And they can't explain everything to you, but you can get upset about it. But we have things like this, single payer getting passed, or single payer about to get introduced. Stomping around the country in Republicanville, in Kentucky, in West Virginia. And you're going to be going to Alabama soon for single payer. Come on. Any objective person can see that the dude isn't evil. He's not some traitor. He hasn't taken us for granted. He's maintained his position so he can do things that benefit everyone. Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, centrist, or otherwise. And he sacrificed a lot of his self-image to make sure that we can get things like single payer. And it's going to be very hard once introduced for Republicans and Democrats to say, no, we don't want our people to have health care. It's going to be very hard. And this is not Obamacare. Because remember, Obama can't go down and write legislation. It's not his job. And 0 people actually read all 22,000 pages of Obamacare, by the way. 0. This is a person who will be down in the weeds writing it with him, who's actually pretty damn good on policy if you haven't checked Vermont and anything else he's been involved in. I'd love to hear your opinions about this. So please comment below, like, subscribe, join our $1 Follow $1 campaign, and always remember, find your balance. Peace.